Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this Wednesday afternoon. In case you weren't aware, it's officially the last day of September, if you can believe it or not. And it's crazy just how time flies. But we wanted to reach out to you once more and bring you an info-filled presentation. And this month, actually, we have two webinars, and we are focusing on the topic of recruitment. Hopefully everybody's business is picking back slightly, if hopefully a lot. And we wanted to do a deeper dive into recruitment, obviously what it looks like now during the age of COVID, and the do's and don'ts, and what we should be doing, what we shouldn't be doing, things to look out for, and hopefully maybe a little interactive, maybe share some of these experiences, definitely questions if you have any. We want to hear them all at the end of the presentation. So let's get started. So today we are very excited to have Lori Sens, and she is the president of Communications Advertising, Inc. She's actually the founder, owner, and president. It's a niche advertising agency that specializes solely in human resources and recruitment advertising. It's a women-owned business, and she has clients all over the United States. I've personally known her for a long time, and we're excited to have her. So we're going to pick her brain a little bit, and she's going to, and mostly in the sense of job boards and recruitment ads and job ads, what we should be doing. Why aren't we getting what we want to get? What we should be putting out there, the legalities of some of the things that we should be putting into our job boards and our postings. And again, at the end, if you have any questions, just drop them in the chat box, and we're going to tackle each and every one of them at the end of her presentation. If you are a member of FSA, you will have access to go back and rewatch this on our website, just in case you missed anything or there's somebody else in your organization who would love to watch this as well. Lori, thank you so much for being here today. It's good to see you as always. Welcome.
Okay, so we're going to get started. I have a lot of stuff to go over, but feel free, again, I have plenty of time afterwards to answer any questions. So we're talking about recruiting during the age of COVID, and you'll have to forgive me, it's the first time I've done a Zoom seminar. I've done live ones, but never by Zoom. So who we are and what we do. We've had over 25 years of industry experience working with both the human resources departments of large corporations and staffing agencies, who are, I'd say, the largest makeup of our clients. In getting people in their doors. So as you can see from this, we work with a whole bunch of different companies, both online, in print. We actually work with radio. We do, if there's a way to do recruitment, we will do it. So you could read through this over here. I think there's a way for me to get my pointer on. Give me a second. I think this is the pointer. All right, so you could read this. What I want to talk about is thinking like a candidate, appealing to candidates so that they respond to your ads or your postings. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, one of the important things to think about is why people work. Now, everybody says they work for money. That's the obvious one. But actually, people work for money. They work for appreciation, for professional and personal fulfillment, to ease boredom, to accomplish their goals, and to feel like they're doing something important or larger than themselves. And we're going to break it down, because understanding why people respond to your postings is very important, because then you need to put taglines into your postings to make sure that they will respond to you. So money. Money, money, money. It pays the bills. People have to work to make money. They need money for food, for rent, and to have fun. So that's the number one thing. Benefits and plus values. Everybody knows people are worried about health insurance. They want paid time off, retirement accounts, especially if you have a company that will do a match for a retirement account. But then think out of the box a little bit. There are people who would love to have a company that has an on-site gym, or they need childcare, and if it's on-site childcare, that company will move up to number one in their response. So remember, when people do a search online, they will find pages of jobs that match their search. What you want to do is be one of the ones they actually apply to. So the list of plus values or benefits is long as your imagination. And we're going to talk about more plus values, benefits as well later on. So independence. People work because they want independence and more control over their own life. When you work, you're learning new things. You're getting more skills. You're making friends on the job with the people that you meet through your job as well. People also work for a sense of community. They want to be a part of and contribute to their communities. This particular one is attractive to a lot of people who want to be of service to others. I want to feel that their work contributes to a greater good for society. Look at all the people signing up to be guinea pigs with the COVID vaccines. These people want to do something good, something bigger than themselves. And when we're writing postings, we look to get as many of these things into a posting as possible so that you click with the candidate and they apply to your job. Affiliations. We're all social beings. Work can be a great place to interact with others, especially when we're not all working remotely. And it's a way to meet people and make friends. It's a form of companionship and for interacting with other people. Some companies, they have corporate social events. They have baseball teams or softball teams. They have picnics. They have family events. And that's a great way for people to meet people. Okay, and success and personal development. Work can provide an opportunity to learn and grow intellectually and socially. It's a means of attaining new goals in life and staying young in a way because you're developing new skills and learning new things. So work can allow people to reach their fullest potential. So when we look at these options, we want to look at different ways to attract people. And again, there's also feeling appreciated. People work for money, but they also like to get pats on their back, to feel that somebody is paying attention to their work, that they're doing a good job and getting positive feedback. And that's a very strong motivator. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Navigating roadblocks in a COVID job market. Okay, we're living in unprecedented times. We all know that. People aren't sure if it's safe to go back to work. Unemployment benefits make it attractive to stay home, especially if you're an hourly employee that's making anywhere from $10 to $15 an hour. And the school situation for many parents is a total nightmare. So when we talk about the problems, we know that the government was giving people $600 in addition to their regular unemployment benefits to stay home. That meant that manufacturers, even essential manufacturers, were having problems getting people to come in because they were making more staying home on the government's dime than they were actually going to work. That became a real problem, and I remember talking to a lot of my clients and saying, let your senators and congressmen know they need to get rid of this $600 benefit. So they reduced it to $300, and at least 21 states are issuing the $300 a week in unemployment benefits through the Federal Lost Wages Assistance Program. That's supposed to go away, and honestly, it will make our lives easier when it does, because even at $300 a week, especially if people have children and they're having these kids have to learn at home, it becomes, should I work or can I just stay home and get the $300 and whatever I'm getting from unemployment and stay with my kids? So these are things that potential candidates are thinking about. And then you have workplace safety and sanitation. When you're writing an ad, especially in times of COVID, you have to address the elephant in the room, which is COVID. You have to tell them that the workplace is going to give them PPE equipment for every shift or every day that they come in. You have to tell them what the workplace is doing to keep them safe. This doesn't have to be multiple paragraphs. It could be a few sentences that basically say that you are adhering to all CDC guidelines and that the workplace is cleaned constantly or from, daily. It's important to people to feel that they're safe when they go to work. Okay, so some ways to combat what I call COVID craziness. Okay, look at the problems, work on solutions. COVID bonus pays, and we call it a bonus pay because you don't want to increase your hourly rate for hourly employees to $20 an hour or to $18 an hour if they're normally getting 12 or 15. What you want to do is call it a bonus pay. And you have to go back to your clients and discuss this with them and say, look, we're having trouble getting people off unemployment or people that are debating childcare and what it's going to cost. We need to give them something to get them to come in the door and stay here. So a bonus pay is something that is paid at the end of every week, preferably. So it encourages people to come in for 5 days or 6 days, and they get a bonus, whether it's $50 or $100 at the end of the week or $50 a day, depending on the job and how hard it is to get people in. And the idea of a bonus pay for COVID is when COVID, I don't know if it'll ever go away, but we'll have vaccines. When it is not as big of a concern, the bonus pay goes away and you go back to your regular hourly rates because unemployment benefits from the government will hopefully be gone then. The other thing is supplemental child care pay. Some companies are paying people up to $100 a day to provide other people to take care of their kids while they go to work. That's a lot of money. Smaller companies can hire someone that they have background checked, make sure there's no pedophiles there. You want to make sure that they get somebody that is background checked, drug tested, and they set up a room where people can bring their kids, give them masks, have computers, some laptops, and let them go online and do their schoolwork from an office or a room at the company. And this is something that is not that hard to set up, and you could have the employees sign waivers, but that will attract people to come back to work. So the other thing is people that are working at home, everyone knows that it is very isolating. And a lot of people are coming down with depression and other issues from working at home. Plus, a lot of homes are not set up with a separate area for somebody to work at home. So sometimes you could do other things with people that work from home, with meetings to try to get them a little bit more socialized. And that, of course, is not for your low-end jobs, but for people in the mid-level to higher-level jobs. Okay, so I would just like to let you know that a lot of companies, over 850, are providing employees with backup care through Bright Horizons. It's a platform that places children nearby daycare centers or brings in available in-home care at discounted rates. So that's where I was saying some of these programs give people up to $100 a day to get child care. Okay. Also, Workday is offering its employees a membership to backup care. But I don't know that I think care.com is necessarily that qualified. I would personally do it in office. In fact, we have done it in our office where we've had kids there. It's not easy, and it would be nice to have somebody who understands IT better in the office to help the kids set up, and when they can't hear their teachers talking and it goes in and out. But it's something to consider, and if you're having trouble filling jobs at any of your companies, talking to them about setting up a company-provided child care center where they hire somebody, have their employees sign waivers, and offer it for a certain number of hours a day so their employees can come in. Okay. Living, working, and hiring in unprecedented times. So we know that life's been pretty crazy. And I love the pictures that one of my office manager, Paige, found here. So when you think outside of the box to get people in the door, one of the things you want to do is think, how can we do it and be COVID friendly? Okay, so you could distribute flyers with QR codes. I think everybody knows what a QR code is. It looks like a barcode. You scan it, and you could have anything come up, whether it's a menu at a restaurant or a flyer that says about the jobs that you have open, with information, of course, so candidates can contact you. You can be using email and text campaigns to drive candidates to your career pages or to your specific jobs. You can hold virtual or drive-through job fairs, and you offer incentives to people to show up, whether it's a prize basket, customized, face mask, $50 gift card. What you want to do is get people to show. The drive-through job fairs that we have done have been very highly attended, and people don't mind waiting in line for their turn to roll down their window and talk to somebody 6 feet away. A recruiter that is taking their information and telling them about jobs. The other thing is you need to be able to have multiple tools in your toolbox. This is not the time to post and pray. This is the time to set your saved searches on all of your job boards. A saved search, for people who don't know, is a mini me recruiter. You set the search, you tell it to either notify you when a candidate that meets your criteria has sent a resume to that search, or you send it to a folder that you can log into daily and see who has responded. And then you could reach out and reach out to that person. But it works 24/7, and you don't have to do that search again because it's doing it for you in the background of all your job boards that you set it on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So back to flyers. Putting flyers out there, you can send them to churches, email them, have them show it during their online services, ask the pastors or the ministers to tell their congregations about your jobs and that you are hiring. You could put them up on Facebook groups, on bulletin boards. You could even have somebody put them under people's car windshield wipers in parking lots. So what you want to do is think a little outside of the box. You may have to spend a little bit more money to get qualified candidates, but if you don't do some of these things, then you're going to not have all your jobs get filled right now, because again, unprecedented times. So having an optimized career page will give you better presence on the web and better visibility. So make sure your jobs do show up on your web pages and that your web pages are optimized, which, by the way, you can check out our new website at www.comadv1.com, COMMADV1.com. It's one of our partnered sites that has done it for us. We are doing some tweaks to it, but it is live. Okay, we talked about, the other thing, your clients can offer free lunch every day. They could offer, as I said, either daycare, COVID bonuses. You have to think of a way to get people into your door and stay at your jobs versus going to somebody else's company. Next slide, hold on. Okay, do's and don'ts for writing job postings. And this is part of, we're going to show you some bad postings that literally came off the net, and then what a good posting looks like. So the do's, always address the elephant in the room. Right now you have to address COVID. During another time you might have to address something else. But you should always say, what is the big problem out there? Let's address it. Don't ignore it. When you do a job posting, use bullets, use emboldening, and use spacing. What you always want to do is include any and all benefits and plus values. Remember, people want to know what is in it for me. They're not that interested in what you want. They want to know what are they going to get out of this job. Less is more. Keep it short, sweet, and to the point. If your job posting is going over 4 paragraphs, you might want to go back and start cutting it. You want to get people to call you or respond to you. They can ask more questions when they do. Include keywords. The reason for keywords is so that your ads show up in people's searches online. And please, people, use spell check. We see very simple words misspelled. Again, unless somebody in a search engine puts in the misspelled word, you're going to end up on the last page of their matches. Okay, so when you're talking about addressing the elephant in the room, you could say, this facility or this office is regularly cleaned and sanitized according to all CDC standards, and we are following all social distancing guidelines. Or you could say, everybody's desk is set at least 6 feet apart. Or maybe you say exceeds the CDC guidelines and is 10 feet apart. You could say you will be working in a warehouse that is regularly cleaned and sanitized according to current standards. And all employees are issued face masks at the start of each shift. And if there's any other PPE equipment they're given, you can mention that too. What you want to do is address it. Okay, I'm going to go tell you what not to do, and then we're going to give you examples. You never want to use one big block of text. Remember, people are looking at pages of postings. If they see a big block of text, they go next, and they don't even give you 5 seconds on your job because it visually is unappealing. You don't want to be too creative with your job titles. I had a bank once give us a job, and they said it was for a relationship manager. I said, that sounds like a social worker or a psychologist, a relationship manager. They were looking for bank tellers. So we rewrote it using a correct title, something someone would search for, because nobody would get it into a search engine and look for a relationship manager. So try to use standard words. You could use the newest verbiage, but you want to use job titles that people will search for. You always want to list just what you're looking for. You don't want to go on and on about other things. Again, keep it short, sweet, and simple. And never forget to include a call to action. And a call to action will increase your response rate by approximately 25%. Okay, so this is an example of a bad ad. Okay, the job title was literally crumb. Okay, it's a type of machine operator, but unless you know that, and sometimes one machine operator could do another machine operator's jobs, especially if they're willing to give some training. So this was the actual ad. Temp agency is seeking the following position: 3 positions in crumb, 12 hours a day, 3 positions in shredding, 3 positions in R3, third shift, 4 positions in shredding RASPA. You must be be able to lift 50 to 70 pounds. You must have a clean background and no felonies in the last 5 years. There's so much wrong with this. Now, hopefully you see it as well. They did try to use bullets, but now let's look at the better one, okay? Machine operator. You want to find what people are going to look for. No experience needed, because this particular one we happen to know, they're entry-level machine operators. So they will train these people to be crumb machine operators or shredding machine operators. They don't need to have that experience. So what we wrote is, we are immediately hiring entry-level machine operators for full-time work at a manufacturing company in Calhoun, Georgia. So we gave them a who, what, where, when, wow, you know, and why, basically, in one sentence. The facility is regularly sanitized, is following all social distancing guidelines, and each employee is provided with personal protection equipment at the start of their shift. Again, addressing the elephant in the room, COVID. Now we're telling them the plus values of it. They're earning $11 an hour, plus company benefits and pay increase upon direct hire. No experience is needed. That's important for a lot of people that don't have experience. All shifts are available. Paid on the job training, learn to be a machine operator. Okay, so then we put in what they have to have. They must have a high school diploma or a GED, be willing to consent to a background check. There is legal wording that you use when you come to a background check. You need to, because it depends on what state you're in. Some states you can't even ask somebody to take a background check, like New York, until you offer them a job. Other states, you're allowed to say that you have to have no felonies. But if you don't know your state laws, always default to err on the side of not getting someone litigious going after you for writing an ad incorrectly. So be willing to consent to a background check. Prior convictions may not necessarily disqualify you from working for this company, is great legally worded background check wording, okay? Because basically you're saying you got to take one, but it may not disqualify you from working for this company. So obviously, if you're a pedophile, you can't work at a children's school. If you were a drug addict and convicted for that, no pharmaceutical company is going to hire you. But if they did something like smoke pot in high school and they got convicted, that might not keep them from doing anything else that they, your job requires. So then it has prior machine operating experience is a huge plus, but not required. Here's the call to action. If you are ready to get back to work and seek an entry-level opportunity where you can learn a great trade, then please apply now. Just telling somebody to please apply will increase your response rate. And this is not just me talking. These are statistics from people that pay attention to these things. Adding a call to action will increase the number of people who will do what you tell them to do. They've gotten that far. It says, go do this, and they go and do it. Okay, here's another job posting. This is one where we call a large block of text. We have seen ads where that block of text goes all the way down to the end of the page. And people look at it, they blink, and they go, let's see what the next one looks like. And this is for a higher level position. So what you want is to always have a good title, but you want to say what they're using for, okay? So if you look what this is, it's really a sales job. The title is not accurate. So you want something where the title, it reflects the job and reflects what they're doing. So the difference here is this is broken out. So if somebody opens this, they can very easily see they're looking for an experienced steel sales rep and where it is. This one's Hialeah. We just took one from our hopper from Chicago, but this is the idea of a better ad, okay? So you'll earn, you always want to put paragraph 2. You want to put in about what they're going to earn, what benefits, what's good about this particular job. What's in it for them? Again, that's what people want to know. So you tell them what you're looking for, then you tell them what's in it for them. And then if they get past that, you tell them what they need to have. So here they need a bachelor's degree, 5 years of relevant experience in the type of industry experience that they want. Now over here, we told them what they're going to be doing. And you could change some of this around as you want, but it should have these specific things in it. And you see it's short, sweet, to the point, and it gets people in the door. So this position offers you a bright future with a solid international company. Please send us your resume now in complete confidentiality. I don't know why it has now twice, but we were using examples. So again, encouraging people to apply. All right, legal issues that you should always consider when writing an ad. We just discussed background checks. And you have to be really careful because there was a time when a whole bunch of ex-criminals who were out, hired a lawyer and went through ads looking for erroneous wording, and they sued those companies. So again, know your state laws, and if you're not sure, use the default background check that we gave you on the other slide. With work authorization, you cannot say you must be a U.S. citizen. I can't tell you how many times we see this. The proper wording is you must be authorized to work in the United States. That means if you have a green card, you have a visa. Any work authorization that's accurate allows them to work in the U.S. Now, if you have a high-end job with, say, the Department of Defense. They literally may need to be a U.S. citizen. And in that case, you could say you will be working for the Department of Defense and must be a U.S. citizen. And legally, you're okay to say that. But you can't discriminate otherwise between somebody who is a green card holder and somebody who was born here. Drug screening. There are a number of states now where pot is legal. For anybody that doesn't know what pot is, we're talking about marijuana. Where drugs are legal and pot is considered a drug, you can't say you must pass a drug screen unless you also say this is a drug-free work environment. Because otherwise, if they test positive for pot and you don't have that it's a drug-free work environment and your client doesn't have a poster in their work area saying that it's a drug-free work environment, they could basically sue you if you fire them. So again, these are legal issues, and I don't know if people know Diane Geller. I've talked to her about some of these things, and make sure that our wording will pass legal scrutiny. We try to be ambiguous enough and detailed enough to get it in. So if you don't say about having a drug-free work environment, you're asking for a headache. And again, when you say it, always ask your client to please hang, even if it's something they print out on a printer and literally scotch tape to the wall and take a picture of, that this is a drug-free work environment. There was a really well-known case in Colorado where somebody sued their employer because they had a medical marijuana card and their drug test showed that they had pot in their system, and they were fired. And the employer won. And they won because it said even though it's legal in the state of Colorado, they don't want people in their work environment that are high or that are possibly impaired because of any drugs. And think about it. If you have forklift drivers, would you want them driving in a big facility while they have any drug in their system? I mean, I wouldn't, especially with the workers' comp that you'd be paying. Okay. Oh, one other legal issue that I wanted to bring up. It's not in here, but it's about language. We have a lot of clients that do light industrial, and also we have call centers where they want Spanish-speaking people. They have Spanish-speaking managers and leads on the floor, and they don't care if people speak English. The problem is we live in America, and the number one language in America is still, or the legal language of America is English. So you can write in an ad that you need somebody who's bilingual, English, Spanish, or English, any other language for bilingual. You can also say no English required, but you cannot legally say that you're looking for Spanish-speaking people. So if you say no English required, you will get people that speak Creole or Portuguese or Chinese that will apply. You can hire whoever you determine you want to hire, but you cannot legally say you only want Spanish-speaking people to apply. Again, you don't want somebody who's litigious nailing you for a bad ad. Okay. Sorry, I'm slow in finding the next bullet, next slide. Come on. Okay. Attracting candidates. One of the things we suggest people do when writing ads is to use catchy phrases and slogans. Be a hero, New York needs you. We ran ads with these things when we started looking for COVID nurses. Help America fight COVID. Again, you're appealing to people's humanity, to do something for their community, to do something bigger than them. And we got a lot of people in the door and filled all of the nurse jobs that we were recruiting for our clients. Make a difference in your community today. Do your part to boost our economy, get back into the workplace. If you seek a great opportunity to assist in the production of life-saving personal protection equipment for your country, we want to hear from you. You need to think a little out of the box. again, think what would it take to get people during this time of crisis to come back to work or to work in an environment that may be advantageous for you, but will put them at risk. So you want to think about what you could do. We were looking once for bakers, and we said, do you need dough? KNEAD, like kneading bread. Do you need dough? DOUGH. And it was clever, it was cute, and we got a lot of people in. Another one I did for call centers, sit on your tush and earn easy money. You just got to try to get somebody to stop when they look at your ad and read. If they smile, they will read the rest of it. You got to say, what would attract me to this ad? Oops, I'm going the wrong direction here. Okay, times are changing. You got to change with the times. So if we don't adapt, you're left behind. Everybody knows the post and pray method is a thing of the past. If you are not posting, if you're not visible on social media and search engines, and if you're not also actively searching job board databases for candidates, you are not doing everything you can to find candidates. So, and you need to, I hate to say get with the times, but you need to do all these things in order to find candidates and to attract them to the jobs that you have. So it sort of speaks for itself here. You need to be visible on social media and search engines, searching job board databases, reaching out with email and text campaigns, using out-of-the-box methods to attract new talent, and adding tools to your toolbox to accommodate these changes. There are times that you can spend less on advertising, and there are times you need to spend more. When it's harder to find people, you need to carve a bigger chunk of your budget out to find people, because you need to do it in myriad ways, and each way will get you people, but they may not get you as much people as, say, when unemployment is very high and there's more people out there looking for jobs. Okay, questions and answers.
If you have any questions for Lori, please go ahead and put them in the chat box. Actually, Lori, I do know somebody personally who had to jump off, but they did send me a comment and a question. Actually, the comment was, it's, you know, she'd love to see your suggestions about out-of-box things, and as far as the client offering lunch. She recently had a client, she works for a staffing company, but she recently had a client where she has numerous temporary employees on site. And what they were doing is at the end of the shift, they were handing out box lunches, dinner, depending on the time,
right,
as they left. So, okay, you know, maybe it's a case where, you know, it's just maybe a snack to get them on the way home or something. So she thought that was interesting because her client just implemented that.
You have to think out of the box.
Absolutely.
And offer something that hopefully your competitors aren't, that will compel people to want to work there.
Right. Okay. And her question was, as far as she loved the bullet points in the ads, and then she noticed in one of the ads that you had the benefits on top. Is there a particular order? Like, would you recommend the job duties on the top or the benefits on the top, or is there any particular like order that things should be placed in the ad?
I always try to put what I consider the most important things in paragraph 2. Okay. For me, telling a candidate what's in it for them is more important than listing my needs for the job, because if the title is a good title, we basically are looking at people hopefully that are looking for that job and they have those qualifications. So then the next thing is tell them what's in it for them, and below that then tell them what you want or what skills they have to have. But again, you don't want to have bulleted lists that go on. I see some IT ads, they have 25 bullets. Keep it to a maximum of 7. And keep that number in your head. If it's more than 7 bullets, break it into another paragraph, or just get rid of the bullets. Okay. You know, I see ads that say you must be able to stand, sit, squat. Seriously, get rid of that stuff.
Okay.
If it's extraneous or it's something that could be done during an interview, leave it for them.
Mhm. Okay. And another question she had is once you post the ad, and not post it, right? But once you post the ad and you see the number of applicants that are applying to your actual job board, at what point do you go back in and retweak it, like as far as how many days when you're just not getting the right candidate or the amount that you really want? At what point do you go back and say, okay, this needs to be tweaked? And how do you tweak it?
Well, if you wrote the ad properly to begin with, and you're not getting any response,
Mhm.
there could be a problem, like with Indeed sometimes, they just have certain glitches, the ad's just not showing. On Indeed, if you see no response to your ads, you either have a wrong cost per click, or you need to redo the ad again because it had a break in what I call the system.
Mhm.
And it happens. You should be getting response pretty quickly. I will tell you right now, you're not going to have the responses you had in 2008, 2009. We had once with a call center ad, literally we had over 1,000 people apply. Even I was blown away. It was really ridiculous because then you had to go look through 1,000 people. Luckily, we don't do that for clients. They had to go through the 1,000 people. You're not going to get that type of response. And as far as quality response, if you're not getting the right type of candidates at all, you need to tweak your title. If
Okay.
your title says vice president and you're getting taxi cab drivers, you can't cut their hands off from applying. But you could put in, that they must have 5 years of experience as a vice president of operations. You could put in qualifiers. And on most job boards, you can screen people and put in screening questions and make it a requirement. So you will see less people, but at least you'll see only the qualified candidates or the liars. People lie on those questions and answers as well.
Right.
The other thing is quality. No one can guarantee you quality. That's why they go to a staffing firm.
Mhm.
They want you to look at 50 people that you think are qualified and send them the top 3. If it was that easy, they wouldn't even use a staffing firm. So while it could be frustrating that you're getting people like a taxi cab driver, applying for vice president of operations,
Mhm.
you've got to say this is a numbers game.
Mhm.
And the only way you can screen out some of these people is using screening questions,
Mhm.
writing good ads, and
Mhm.
again, you have to be willing to spend a little more money. I mean, Indeed, we used to spend $25 on certain ads, and now we've got to spend 80 or 100 for the same ones to get the same numbers of people in the door to our clients. And again, the cost per click, we have to raise it, which is why it's spending more money.
Right.
Where you can get posting slots, because the slot is fabulous. You just, refresh it regularly. If anybody doesn't know what a slot is, it's a parking space. Instead of a 30-day posting, you get a certain number of parking spaces, and whether it's empty or filled, you pay for it, which means you keep it filled at all times. So if you pull out the Cadillac, you pull in the Toyota. You pull out the Toyota, you pull in the Jag. You always want to keep it filled. And you literally don't want that ad to stay up longer than a week. After a week, you either refresh it and make it new so it shows today's date,
Right.
or you take it down and put something else in. But old jobs don't attract people. Now, it may take 2 months to get a really good IT person in,
Mhm.
but that ad should not be 2 months old. Anybody applying to an ad that's over 30 days is looking to be on unemployment. And they're looking to say, see, I applied to these ads and nobody hired me. Oh, an ad should not be older than 7 days, because after 7 days, it loses its credibility.
Okay. Now,
Especially if even on LinkedIn, you can,
Right.
if you have a slot, refresh it, make it look new. People that really are looking for a job, they will apply to the newest jobs out there.
okay. Now you mentioned obviously the slots, and we know, with the platforms, Monster, Career Builder, Indeed, over the years, they've changed their platforms. They switched up a lot of things. Have you noticed the job board companies switching up since COVID started, rolling out new things because of COVID, or is it pretty much?
No, most people are going away from slots because people like me make them sing and dance and get such value out of them.
Yeah.
ZipRecruiter still has slots. LinkedIn still has posting slots.
Okay.
Indeed, Monster, Career Builder, Dice, they're all, well, actually Dice has slots too. Most of them all have just 30-day postings or cost per click postings. And when you do a cost per click posting, again, as soon as you fill it, please take it down and stop wasting money. And if you don't fill it, take it down, put it up as new after a week at the most.
Okay. The week. Okay. Okay, perfect. Any questions? Any additional questions? I wanted to go over one more thing as well. And I know you already gave examples, some call to actions. What are some other call to actions that you guys have used in the past for the ads?
Oh, we've done everything from you want to spark your career for electricians. We try to use words to be entertaining, but not everybody is that creative. You don't have to be. You could be straightforward. And we showed a straightforward one in this one. If you want to, take advantage of an entry-level position where you could learn a new trade, because machine operators make more than just general warehouse workers. We didn't say that part, but the idea is learning a new trade. You could say, if you're looking for a career opportunity with lots of advancement, or at a company that likes to promote from within, please apply now. If you know where the apply is on that particular one, on Monster, I used to say, click the orange apply button right now. You want to just tell people what to do as simply as possible so that they can do it without having to look all over the page.
Right.
And I can't even figure out where to apply. The other thing is, for certain types of jobs, people don't have resumes. Put in a phone number and make sure that phone number has a voicemail that is not full, because you want people to be able to email you, text you, call you. So if you're looking for forklift operators who may not have qualified resumes, so to speak, give them a phone number. And if they've been working as a forklift operator and they have the certification, you just hit gold, because you gave them an easy out. Pick up the phone and call us now with the phone number listed. Now, if you are posting on any job board and you put your phone number in, you are going to get and see less candidate applies, because people are picking up the phone and calling.
Okay. Okay. We had a question come in from Tanya. Hi, Tanya. Thank you so much for joining us. Tanya asks, how do you attract good candidates when the pay rate is low and offer no benefits? Boy, do we know that one.
We get that question literally 3-4 times a day.
We all know, yes.
We get ads in from clients that were like, no, we're not even going to waste money. Go back to your client and explain. We are recruiting during the age of COVID.
Yes.
Life has changed. Your clients are not sitting under rocks. They have to know what's going on out there. And if they're not willing to give a COVID bonus or make the work environment so palatable that people enjoy working there, then they're going to keep losing people, and you're going to have extremely high turnover. So while I know clients say we don't want to raise our hourly rates, that's why I said make it a COVID bonus. This way, when COVID, I won't say, again, I don't know that it's going to go away, but it will not be as big of a factor in hiring. And when that happens, you just get rid of the COVID bonus. You need to do something, whether it's the box lunches, on-site food, feeding the employees, giving them things to take home, giving them extra money at the end of the week. You need to offer something to entice them, or you're not going to fill your jobs.
And it's important to call it COVID. So as you said, when you take it away, it's not like, oh, hey, where did it go? Obviously, if you call it a COVID pay/bonus, they know it was obviously for.
Right. If you raise the hourly salary rate, the hourly rate from say $10 to $15, and
Okay.
it's always been 10. When COVID is minimized, these people are still going to say, well, I was making $15 an hour and I still want it. But if they're getting an extra $5 an hour as a COVID bonus, they won't expect it. They may ask for it, but they're more willing to go back to the $10 an hour.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a challenge. I mean, it's definitely about educating your client, but sometimes it just depends.
We've had to go back and talk to our clients and give them statistics and explain that it's unfortunate that you have to pay more during this time. But if you really want to fill your logistics center or your warehouse or your, whatever it is, your manufacturing plant, this is what you have to do. And because we have so many different clients, we have literally had it where I had one company say, but this is what we always paid. And I said, well, I hate to tell it to you, but do you know that there's another company across the way from you? And they said, oh yeah, we're in a warehouse district. I said, well, they're paying 50 cents more an hour. And she said, how do you know? I said, because they're our client. And we know what they're paying because we write their ads too. So either you need to be competitive, or every time somebody goes outside on a break and talks to somebody that's at the other company that's also outside on a break, you're losing that candidate, that employee that has been showing up for 50 cents an hour, they're going to the other place.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Any other questions for Lori while we have her? We will be sending out an email with her contact information. So if you need to contact her or anybody in her wonderful team, she's got a great team. Or if you wanted to write your ads, if you're just sick of it, which I totally understand, definitely reach out to her. She'll be more than willing to answer any of your questions. And, we'll send that out to you tomorrow. We are going to continue with I'm going to call it Recruitment October. In 2 weeks, we're going to have a webinar, and it's a candidate recruitment roundtable. And we are going to have staffing agency owners discuss recruitment. We want to make it as interactive as possible. We want to hear from you, different ways that you are pivoting, different things you're doing for your clients, troubles you're having, or good stories that you have. We always love to hear those. Registration for that webinar is going to open on Friday. So definitely look out for that email, and you can always go to our website, the FSA website, and sign up. And again, if you are an FSA member, you do have access to rewatch this webinar if you missed anything, or you can definitely reach out to anybody, myself, or any of the board members with any questions. Lori, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much for having me. And if anybody wants to check out our new website and send me any comments, love to hear from you.
Absolutely. Perfect. All right, everybody, have a great afternoon, and we'll see you next time.